Welcome to the Art Lady channel. Today we're going to be making some adorable owls, and we're going to be using our imagination, and we're going to fill it with line and pattern. Now this one was an example from several years ago, and we just did some texture and painted them, but today we're going to be using some lines and patterns. And of course, whatever you want to do on your background, you can add to that as well. Here's an example right here, a lovely owl. Look at that. But when we did it on our paper, look at this. It was too small. So you want, for today, we want this owl to be large, to take up that whole page. So this was my no owl for too small. So if you follow the directions with me, you'll make sure, we'll make sure that you get a nice big owl using the whole page. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself a guideline because I want my owl to come almost to the top of this page. So I'm going to take my finger and I'm just going to put it right at the top of the page, and I'm going to give myself a horizontal guideline here. So that's where I want the top of my owl to be. And then if I go to the bottom of my page here, I want to leave room for a tail, say 3 fingers. So I'm going to measure up 3 fingers, and I'm going to put a guideline here as well. So this is where my branch will be on my owl. So I'm going to go ahead and draw in the branch. And the branch is going to just go a free-form line to the side, and then maybe it'll come down on this side, across, and then maybe kind of diagonal down. And you notice it's not drastic, it's kind of gradual. And I'm going to go ahead and now start on the top here. So I'm going to bring my page up again, and now I'm going to work on the owl's head. I'm going to skip a space and come down, and I'm going to put my finger here. This is going to be a guideline. I want space between both eyes. So I'm going to put a number 1 and a number 1 between my fingers right there. So you can see the top guideline and then a guideline on each side. This will form the eyes here. And I want really large eyes. So I'm going to jump over, and I'm just going to do a small circle. And then you notice it's about a finger wide. And I'm going to do the same on this side. So if I want to put a guideline and a guideline to measure how wide that is, then I can have it so it's similar in size. And now I'm going to do a ring around that and go slow so you can get it equal like that. And then even another line around it, because sometimes the feathers are lighter around the owl. Like I have a white going around here, a white ring, just like that. It's okay if it's lopsided or not the same. Once we paint it in, it'll look great. Now between the 2 eyes, what I'm going to do is a straight line. And then I'm going to jump down, and depending on the species of owls, you might want a shorter beak or longer. You decide how long you want your beak to be. And I'm going to put a dot, make this center here, and then I'm dropping down and down. Now this was my guideline for the top of the head. Now sometimes owls have these patches on the top, and they have a, I think it's a screech owl that has a little bit of a light color here. So I'm going to go up and up on both sides. And sometimes they have little tiny bumps for ears here, depending on, like I said, depending on the species. So I'm going to come, so this curved up, up, and I'm going to go almost to the top of that page, but I'm leaving a hair, like about a 1/4 inch, because I don't want to come right at it. And now I'm going to come around a line on each side of the eyes. And then this is going to curve down slightly, over and down. And then I'm just going to kind of bring this up and around. up and around. And that gives these like little horned owls here. Little horns or ears. They call it a horned owl, but it's really like little tufts of feathers. Now, this is where the branch is going to come, so I'm going to gently bring my owl down to a curve, right to the branch, and then I'm going to do some feet down here. And the feet, you can either do it like elongated hot dogs, or you could do it as a slight curve. And then I'm going to round it and bring it back to the body. Now they have claws as well. If you want to add a triangle for a claw, you can. Curve, that's a small curve, bring it up to the body. Add a little V for the claw. There. And then do the same on this side, but this is curving in toward this edge of the page. Curve, curve, and then give some claws. And that's going to tell us where the branch is going to end now, because he's grasping the branch. So I'm going to bring my branch up. There. And if you want to add, you know, another branch to these, you can, for some interest. Maybe one down here. And then, of course, we can have leaves or print leaves on. One student actually put a little bird nest here that was really cute, or a little baby owl next to him. That was adorable too. Now, let's break up this big space here because we have a lot of space here. We can do some wings tucked in, or you can have your wings kind of out if it's almost about to fly. I'm just going to come off the body. If you look at the eye, I'm a little bit lower than the eye. Come off the body, horizontally curving. It comes out but then curves down. And I'm just going to tuck my wings. So bring it down vertically, then slightly curve. And now I'm going to bring it up to the body. I'm going to do the same on the other side. So measure across. It's going to come out and then slightly curve down. Coming down vertically. I want it to be the same length here. So I'll have it go, just go right on top of that. And then bring it back up. I'm going to hide that with some texture. And then his little tummy area, if you want to do a separate section for the tummy area, you can right in here. Curve it down. That way you can get some cool pattern here. Now you can decide how you want to fill this up with pattern. You can do like V shapes for the feather texture, or U shapes. And when you do this, draw them quite large, so that you don't have lots to color in. You can make zigzag. We talked about lines last week, and curving lines, zigzag lines. This makes great pattern here, these zigzag lines. I'll turn all this into zigzag. Just connecting the V's makes zigzag. And see, you don't even see that little mistake now once you fill it in. There. And now you can add whatever you want to your background. I'm going to just do some kind of wavy lines in here for feathers. That way it'll give me some nice patterning to add different color to. But you can add any kind of line pattern you want to your owl. And in the eye area, let me show you this. This will become the pupil, which is the window to the world. This is where the sight comes out of, your pupil. And this, the next ring, is actually the iris of the eye. So I'm just going to make some lines in my iris. So that's the owl's actual eye color. But you can see already it's starting to look great with these patterns. And then if you want to put a little bit of two little lines here for vent, just like a vent line on his beak. And I'm going to show you now what some of my third grade kids did to their, let me move it down so you can see the top of it. I'm going to show you what they did to their owls now with my third grade class today. Now they added some backgrounds here which are really cute. And then of course flowers always looks great. And we're gonna paint these in. And here's, like I said, there was a baby owl that was added to one picture here. And we've got some patterning in here as well. And if you double line the beak, it makes it like the beak is opened. His mouth is open, so that's cute. This is some cool designs here. We've got really neat patterns with zigzag lines and some circle lines. Here are some really lovely third grade examples. They're not done yet. They just finished the lesson. And we had an early release day, so it was only 30 minutes for art class. So they had just a few minutes to add their own creativity to it. But you can see how we're getting some baby owls here. And then some great background designs. And remember, when you do anything, try and get it bigger than your finger. So these little details will be easier for you to paint in, like these branches from the tree here. And even the baby, this is a good size baby right here. And even the heart details on here. Some kids chose to do some heart shapes depending on how the owl came out. So don't worry if your owl is too large or too wide, depending on your species of owl. And this is kind of an imaginary owl. We're looking at different types of owls and creating our own owl. So it doesn't have to be perfect. So it can be fatter or skinnier or thinner or taller or shorter. So it depends on your picture. Just fill it with neat pattern and design, and yours is going to come out great too. Look at this one. Love the zigzag. And then we've got some spots on its wings here. And again, this helps with composition when you have things layer behind. The owl is on top of, and the branches are behind the owl. You can see here how it continues. And then we've got a little tail down at the bottom. Some detail in the beaks even, pattern. Here's a nice large owl. Got a lot of detail, look at that, in the head. And this is a great, here's a nest with a baby in it, and then nice branches right there on that tree. Good job on the branches. So we've got a lot of cool different ideas. Try and think of things that are different. Some kids did moons and stars. Here's some spirals and swirls in the sky. And then we've got, I'll pull it down a little bit, you can see it down here. And we've got a baby coming off of, standing on the branch here. That's great too. And then we have even a snake in this design. So have fun creating. And I'm going to show you some other examples next. The lesson's a little bit different from what we did today, but it still has some great examples, so enjoy. And I really like, here's some neat cool shapes with flowers down here. Nice job. And then we've got, this one's interesting too because we've got some diamonds over here. And then of course when you're in the background you can add your moon. I love the diamonds. And look at that snake right there. Nice. This is interesting too. You can have the chest color here. Instead of a circular chest area, they did a heart chest area. That's nice. And some beautiful patterns in the background. In this example, we've got a lot of things going on. Some eggs and caterpillars. Combinations of patterns. I like the head right here. Nice patterns on the face. And then in this one we have lots of zigzag patterns. So this will be fun to color in all this and paint it in. We're going to be using some tempera paints in the class to paint it in. So I just wanted to show you what it would look like. And I hope you enjoyed your owl lesson. And in the comments let me know how you did.